Okay, what if you could turn off disease? Kind of like flicking a light switch. It sounds wild, right? Well, today we're going to dive into the story of Annalise, a bioengineering professor at Stanford. She was facing some serious health crises of her own, so she did something pretty radical. She ran an experiment on herself, and what she discovered led to this incredible theory about how our bodies actually work.
Just look at this list. I mean, wow. We're not talking about minor aches and pains here. This is the heavy stuff: early-stage type 2 diabetes, and autoimmune thyroid disease, chronic pain, and she says she cured them. That's remarkable on its own, but it really makes you wonder, right? How could one single change possibly fix so many seemingly unrelated problems?
But here's the thing. The big aha moment didn't come from tackling diabetes head-on. Nope. It all started with something way simpler. A really common observation that she and a bunch of other people noticed. It was happening so consistently, it just couldn't be a coincidence. This was the very first clue in a much, much bigger biological mystery.
And that first clue, believe it or not, it was all about gum health. Yeah, I know, it sounds like a small detail, maybe even a little random, but trust me, this was the single thread that, when pulled, unraveled the entire puzzle. So this is where our little biological whodunit really kicks off.
So, what were people noticing? Well, anyone trying out a no-sugar, no-carb diet was reporting the exact same things, almost like clockwork. Bad breath? Poof, gone. Gums bleeding when they flossed? Not anymore. That puffy, red inflammation? It just vanished. And fast, too, like within a few days. But this super simple observation actually created a huge scientific puzzle.
And here's why it was such a puzzle. The main bad guy behind serious gum disease, this bacterium called P. gingivalis, well, it doesn't eat sugar. Not a bit. It's what you'd call a meat eater. It literally survives by breaking down the protein in your own gums. So the question is, if this bacteria doesn't even eat sugar, why on earth is cutting out sugar completely shut it down? It makes no sense. Or does it?
Well, according to Annalise's theory, the answer is that P. gingivalis isn't a lone wolf. Oh no. It's part of a microbial gang, a chain of 3 culprits that have to work together to cause all this trouble. So, let's meet the lineup.
All right, suspect number 1 is our main offender, Porphyromonas gingivalis. Now, this guy hates oxygen. It thrives where there isn't any, but its real supervillain power is what it does next. It releases these enzymes that can travel through your nerves and, get this, turn off the part of your immune system that fights viruses. That is a crucial piece of the puzzle, so keep it in mind.
Next up, suspect number 2. This one isn't a bacterium, it's actually a family of viruses. And here's the wild part. Most of us, probably you included, carry several of these herpes viruses. You know, the kind that cause stuff like cold sores or chickenpox. They just hang out in our nerve cells, dormant, basically sleeping. But they're waiting. And what are they waiting for? Exactly. They're waiting for our antiviral defenses to get switched off. Okay, so let's recap. We've got a bacteria that can turn off our virus-fighting defenses, and we've got these viruses just waiting for their chance to attack. But how does that first bacteria even get strong enough to cause trouble? Well, it needs a partner in crime, an accomplice. And that brings us to suspect number 3, Candida albicans, a super common fungus that has one true love in this world: sugar.
And this is how the whole microbial crime goes down. Step 1. You eat sugar or carbs. That's like ringing the dinner bell for Candida, and it starts to multiply like crazy. Step 2. As all that Candida grows, it starts using up all the oxygen in the area. And remember who hates oxygen? That's right, our main bad guy, P. gingivalis. So the fungus basically creates the perfect oxygen-free hideout for the bacteria to set up shop and thrive. See the connection? The sugar feeds the fungus, and the fungus builds a home for the bacteria.
But hold on. The story gets even crazier. It's not just that sugar helps the accomplices. It turns out sugar is a saboteur all on its own. It directly disarms your body's frontline immune cells. And you know, this isn't some brand new cutting-edge discovery. Scientists figured this out in a landmark study way back in 1973.
And the experiment they ran was super simple. They just gave a bunch of healthy volunteers a sugary drink. We're talking about the amount of sugar you'd get in maybe 2 cans of soda. Then, they just took blood samples for the next few hours to watch what happened to their immune cells.
The results were frankly shocking. For up to 5 hours after that one drink, the power of their key immune cells to do their job to gobble up and destroy invaders was basically crippled. 5 hours. Just let that sink in. If you're having sugar with breakfast, then lunch, then a snack, then dinner, you could be spending the vast majority of your day with your immune system running on half power.
And this comparison just lays it all out perfectly. It really shows the two different states your body can be in. On one side, you've got a high-carb diet where your immune cells are constantly getting knocked down after every meal, basically leaving the gates wide open. But on the other side, without that sugar hit, your immune system is fully powered up, 24/7, patrolling your body and taking out the trash, exactly like it's supposed to.
Okay, so now it's time to connect all the dots. Let's put these pieces together, because this isn't really just about bad breath or even cold sores anymore. What Annalise is proposing here is a kind of theory of everything for how a whole range of these chronic, inflammatory, and even autoimmune diseases might get started in the first place.
So here it is, the whole domino effect, from start to finish. You eat sugar. The sugar feeds the fungus. The fungus makes a nice little home for the bacteria. The bacteria then flicks the off switch on your antiviral immunity. And finally, those sleeping viruses wake up and start causing inflammation and nerve damage all over your body. You see? Each step perfectly sets up the next one. And this, right here, is the most powerful part of the whole theory. It says you don't have to declare war on the viruses or the bacteria or even the fungus. All you have to do is stop giving them their fuel. By taking away the sugar, you break this whole destructive chain at the very first link. The whole house of cards just comes tumbling down.
Which brings us to a really profound idea when you think about it. It means food isn't just fuel. It's not just about calories for energy. It's information. It's a set of instructions you're giving your body. And in this case, your diet is acting like a master switch for your entire immune system, deciding whether it's on high alert or powered down. So that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. We started this whole journey with a professor's personal story of reversing her own diseases, and we ended up with this incredible chain reaction connecting sugar, fungus, bacteria, and viruses. So, if it's true, if our food really is one of the main switches for our body's entire defense system, it just makes you wonder, what else have we been missing? What other huge secrets about our health are hiding in plain sight, right there on our dinner plates?